Hey, Darren, what has Cole Sulcer shown you so far? And how do you think a guy like that, who's new to the closing, is going to bounce back from a night like last night?
Yeah, the great thing about Cole is that he's very even kill. He's a very intelligent guy. He's very prepared for every time he goes out there. Um, the first one that he blew, I forget where it was. Kind of a walk off. He struggled. So me and Brokel brought him in and we talked to him. Hey, he closed some in the minor leagues, and we just talked about you got to have a short memory. It's going to happen. This is the big leagues, and you got to keep grinding on every single day. And he's done that. He's already come into our office today, and it didn't look like it looked like his persona was a short memory. I mean, he was fine. He just come in, asked some questions about some certain stuff that he wanted to know, and that was it. So I think he's learning along the way. We all were there. I've been there before, been right in his position, blowing some saves early in my career, and you just learn to handle it. I think he's done a good job.
Great. Next up is Rich Dubrov.
Hey, Darren, speaking of Sulcer, this is a guy who spent a lot of time in the minor leagues, and now, a lot of people, he had some success early here. And how much of it is due to the novelty factor, due to people who haven't seen him and trying to teach him that, maybe he can't do the same thing when he's seeing people again?
Yeah, I think that I think there's some definitely truth to that. I think that his preparation for each day is he's at the top of the shelf on really preparation for our guys. He really does a good job. He knows what he wants to do. Sometimes, he's pitched quite a bit. He did have a pretty long layoff, I think 4 days, 5-day layoff, and then back into the game last night. But I think, Rich, I think he's feeling his way through right now. He's trying to solidify himself as a back end guy. And things like this happen, they do. It's a part of baseball. We haven't lost any confidence in him. We haven't lost any faith in him. We still believe he has good stuff. He has a very good fastball with a lot of ride to it. His slider has been really good. His changeup has been off the charts at times, and he's kind of been a guy. The outing before last, he had somehow moved over his heel all the way on the first base side. He's kind of a middle of the rubber guy, and we noticed it. Brought it to him. He said, "I didn't know I was doing that." So we moved him back over to the middle. And yesterday, he was in the zone yesterday with his stuff. He just left one up just a little bit to a really good hitter who's hurt us a lot.
Okay, great. If we have any additional questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and we'll go to Nathan Ruiz next.
Hey, Darren, thanks for doing this. What kind of role do you see Hunter Harvey playing once he's back in the mix, and what do you think he can add?
Yeah, I think Hunter will add definitely a very big arm for us. I think he's going to be, he's going to be in a role where, you're not going to probably throw him in a closer's role. You're probably going to, get his feet wet back in this again. He's been out for a lengthy period of time. He's not going to be a back-to-back guy. He's probably, if he pitches and throws limited amount, let's say he pitches an inning and throws 10 pitches, you take a day off and he may be ready the second day. If he throws, 18, 20 pitches, you're probably going to give him 2 days off. So, we're at the back end of this right now, and we want to make sure that he finishes the year healthy. So he's probably going to have a day or 2 days, maybe even 3 between outings.
Great. We'll go to Jeff Arnold next.
Hey, Darren, thanks for doing this. Can you walk us through kind of Castro's season a little bit? I know he started off pretty well, and then he had some outings where he didn't necessarily put the results together he wanted to. And then the last couple of times out, he's been pretty good. Can you kind of walk us through his year a little bit from what you've seen?
Yeah, so I had Castro in 2015 with the Colorado Rockies. He was in the trade with Tulowitzki. So I've had some history with Castro for about 2.5 months. And I I think there were some changes that I wanted to make for him if he came back the next year, and then he ended up coming over here. And so I kept all them notes. And when I came in, I met with Broke, and we went over it, and we agreed that this would be a good thing to do. So we've moved his hands down to his belt. All right, we've got him sidestepping, or load and go is what we call it, to combat some of the timing issues that he had and timing for the hitter. I think in his couple outings that before the last two, in his couple outings that he got kind of out of whack a little bit, he was raising his leg pretty high again, getting kind of slow and raising a high leg. And so we met with him. He'd had some success doing it. He didn't really, he never was really in positions that he had to control the running game. And in his last couple of outings, he's had to control the running game. And the outing before last, he didn't do it very well. He had 2 stolen bases on him. And so we revisited again, and he went into the game last night. And as you see, I mean, he threw, I don't know, 15, 16 pitches, and I think 9 of them were from the load and go, from the slide step and going home and disrupting timing. So that's where he's going to make his money, is disrupting timing. If he's slow and guys have a chance to time him up, if he mixes that in, it puts another thought in their mind, and I think he's starting to realize that now.
Great. We'll go to Steve Moleski next.
Darren, is it very individualized from the coaching standpoint to a player who hits a rough patch in the bullpen, whoever it may be? Are there some you have to handle one way and others another way?
Yeah, definitely. You know, for me coming over here, you know, my first, the first thing I do is try to build relationships. Obviously you want to work through mechanical stuff that they're doing, especially in spring training, and get them ready for the season. But for me coming over here, being a new coach in this environment with the Baltimore Orioles, I need to get to know the players. I talked to them a lot on the phone in the off season. We had some Zoom calls, all of us together. So coming in, each guy you handle kind of differently, just like you said, Steve. You know, there's some guys that you can be very upfront with, that you can kind of get in their butt a little bit, you know, and they respond to that. And then there's some guys that you got to put your arm around, and you got to, you know, you got to teach them and coach them up like that. So yes, it's a lot of fun to get to know these personalities, but yeah, there's different ways of doing, of getting a guy to do something that you want him to do that he may be reluctant. There's multiple ways to bring that message that he understands it better. And I think so far we've done a pretty good job of that.
Great. We have a follow-up question from Nathan Ruiz. Nathan?
What adjustments have you guys made with Tanner Scott? And with him, is it something where it was really just one thing and everything could click, or are you surprised at how quickly he's kind of taken hold and ran with this?
So the one thing that we did is we put him into, we call it load and go. Most people know the slide step, a quick pitch home to where he didn't lift his leg up. So we started this in spring training. We started the slide step with him, the load and go. And what we found, if we went back over all of his stuff in spring training right at the end of spring training, his last 2 outings, he was load and going the whole time. And so we went back and found that his strike percentage when he was quick to home was at like a 72%, something like that, strike percentage. And when he raised his leg, he was like at 48%. So we showed him the information, and he said, "Okay, I'm all in." It didn't take away from his velo, but it added command, and that's something, you know, he's a 96 to 100 guy at times. And if you can just get that in the zone he has a plus slider, he's going to be very successful. And that's what he's done this year.
We have another follow-up from Jeff Arnold. Jeff, go ahead.
Darren, in terms of what you've seen from Jorge Lopez so far with these first couple of outings, what have you made of his stuff and just overall how he's approached everything, and just what you're seeing from him delivery-wise and stuff-wise?
Yeah, so whenever we knew that he was going to be available, I talked to some people over in Kansas City that I knew, and they give me some good information on him. He was a guy that had really good stuff. but was very sporadic in the zone. So me and Brookell, we actually got together, watched a ton of film together. We had a good game plan for him when he walked in. We actually moved his hands down to his belt, which allowed him to kind of minimize some movement, and allowed him to continue his windup like he does, but getting into the load a lot better. He wasn't really a guy that really got into a load and could stay in line direction down the slope. So he's been doing a really good job at it. He's working on it every single day. Tomorrow we're going to get a good look at him at a natural start and kind of see what that looks like. But so far, he's been a little sporadic. He's given up some runs, but if you look at his stuff, he has a plus fastball. He's 95. He can go 95 plus. Great movement, a tremendous slider, and a very good curveball that we're working on, kind of getting it a little bit smaller to tunnel off the fastball. But we're really happy to have him. He's a great guy, great teammate, and we really think that he could be a really a top 3 starter for us.